biding my time. I hope that it ain't so.
And good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, and welcome to another beautiful Wednesday. My name's Dan Latto. So, in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about time, because it's about time, isn't it? That we spoke about time. A little bit of hypnotic language there. So, today's session is really about how long are we going to live. Right? It's a little bit depressing, I guess, but I just want you to put this into context. So I'm 45 now. I know, looking good. No, I feel about 55, but I'm 45. But actually, when I look back at the last 10 years, from 45 down to 35, oh my gosh, I blinked and I woke up and I'm like, oh, it's Wednesday. Good morning, Scott, hope you're well. And so what I'm saying here is that time goes incredibly fast, and you know, I've got a 3.5-year-old and she's only 3.5, and you know, when you think about 6 months ago, that's like 1/7 of her entire life, right? So time seems to go really slow for her because she's had so little time in the past. But you know, as you get older, morning Scott, nice to see you there. You know, as you get older and you go, wow, time seems to speed up. And I think that's actually the reason why, it's because the proportion of time that you've been alive, you know, your next 6 months as a proportion of your entire life. So if you're 45, 6 months is 1/90th of your entire life. Does that make sense? So 6 months does go like that because you've had 90 of them already, if that makes sense. So it just goes incredibly fast. And I'm sure people who are watching this who are 55 years of age, who are 10 years ahead of me, they'll go, just wait till you hit my age. And those people who are 65, they're looking at how much time we've got left and like, oh my gosh, I've got no time left. So, now, I do believe, by the way, and I find this interesting when I'm doing coaching calls and I ask people, how old do you think you're going to be when you die? And listening to the information that comes back tells me quite a lot of information about them. I've had people go, oh, 67. I'm like, okay, I know where you need help, okay? And then I've had others going, oh, 120. I'm like, perfect, brilliant. And I know for a fact that I'll be at least 95 before I die, because the way that technology is moving forward, that's just what's going to happen. The problem that we're going to have in, 50 years' time is one of massive overpopulation and one of massive, we call this a contrast frame, where you've got one person who's on lots and lots of money and then everybody else is on not a lot of money. And so that's the problem. If you're one of these people with not a lot of money, then, you know, chances are you're not going to live to 95, because that's what the demographics show as well. The people with more money, they get better education, better healthcare, they look after the body better, and so forth. So that's really important to me as well, is making sure that these people at the bottom are starting to look after themselves so they can live long enough to see their children grow up and have grandchildren and great-grandchildren and even great-great-grandchildren. And the way technology is moving us forward, you know, give it another 100, 150 years, the average age of death will be 120, without doubt. Okay, so, and I know people go, oh, well, that will never happen. Well, they said the same about electric cars and self-driving cars. They said the same about going to Mars. They said the same about going to the moon. They said the same about the Wright brothers. They said the same about the desktop computer. What's his name? His name escapes me. Who runs IBM? Watson, who used to run IBM, said in 1956, I think it was. Somebody check that date. I'd be amazed if I got that right. But somebody said, I can only see a reason for having 6 computers on a desktop, or 6 computers in an office, or around the world, something like that. So the way in which we see things is quite small and narrow, and then when we zoom out, you know, when we go forward in time and we get a snapshot of, you know, from the year dot up to the year 2000, which is now, more or less, and then to the year 3000, the year 4000, the year 10,000, you just look at the transition in technology and healthcare and the way that's all happening. And we're just at a point right now where we're right at the crux of it. They call it a singularity, a technological singularity, which really annoys the heck out of Neil deGrasse Tyson, because they stole that term from black hole theory. Because that's what the singularity is called. So, but the point here is that how long are we going to be alive on the planet? Like you and I, how long are we going to be on the planet for? That's the question. So let's say that I'm middle-aged now. Oof, God, that makes me feel old. And it also makes me feel like the shoulders are slumped, middle-aged. But I don't feel middle-aged as such. I know I said I feel like 55, I really don't. I feel like I'm not 45, I feel much younger than that. And maybe the reason for that is because of my environment. I'm here in the sun, I'm next to the beach, we're going to take a walk down to the beach after this and walk along the water's edge, put my feet in the water. One of the things I love doing when the weather gets warmer, especially on a morning when everyone's side traffic, going to work and that kind of thing. I love doing that kind of thing. But that environment is very conducive to having a positive mental attitude. Compare that to me when I used to live in Leeds, and you'd wake up and it's still dark and it's grey and it's wet and it's raining and you're stuck in traffic and everyone's grumpy till at least coffee, and then even after that they're still grumpy, and it's like just a massive transition in the environment. But the real point of this is that how long are you going to wait until you start going for your dreams? Like, we've been toying with placing Facebook ads, and I must admit, my experience on Facebook ads in the last 3 years is pretty minimal. Excellent. Perfect. Thank you, Scott. Scott's just saying he's got to go to work, but he's going to catch up on the replay. Thank you. So, I do wonder about the timing of these at 8 a.m. But that's okay, it's all right. So, the question is, how long are you going to sit back and wait for your dreams? So we've been thinking about Facebook ads, and we've been putting them off for a couple of days because we've not known how to do it. And I just need to go through the Facebook blueprint to understand the dashboard on Facebook. We know about copywriting, we know about the images, we know about the text and the percentage of text, and we know what converts, so we know all that stuff. It's just the actual dashboard, and I don't really want to do it, but we're going to go do it, and we're going to start placing Facebook ads. And we're going to spend a lot of money on Facebook ads, by the way. We're not going to spend like 50 quid or 100 quid or 500 quid. We're going to go into the thousands of pounds and start driving an awful lot of traffic. And it's like this idea, this concept of, well, if not now, when? I remember Grant Cardone. You know Grant Cardone, Uncle G. He's crazy. And I was thinking about it this morning, actually. I was thinking about Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk and their styles of videos. And Uncle G's like, hey man, is such a weird American Uncle G's in the house kind of guy. And then Gary Vaynerchuk is hustle like fuck, man, just hustle like fuck. What the fuck? He would have had like 100 fucks by now in this video. And he would have called you bro like 50 times as well. I just find it very funny. And then you get over to us English and we're going, hey up lads, how's it going? It's just funny. But anyway, Grant Cardone was talking about his jet and his wife Elena, and she was like, well, are you going to get a jet at some point? Grant's 60 now. And he's like, well, yeah. And she's like, well, when? And he's like, well, I don't know, maybe 10 years. Like, you're going to be 70 in 10 years. Why not get it now and have the benefit of the private jet now? And his is an asset because it puts money in his pocket. Although it takes a lot of money out, it puts money in his pocket. He can go from one place to another place to do lots and lots of deals. The amount of wealth that he's generated allows him to do that. And the jet increasingly increases to his wealth. Okay, so if not now, just dropping pens all over the place. If not now, then when? When are you going to do it? When are you going to step up and live the life of your dreams? You've only got a certain amount of time left, and if you're 45, like realistically, most people are supposed to retire at 65. You've got 20 years left in the game, and if you're 35, you've only been in the game 17 years, and you've got another 30 to go. So, do you really want to work for 30 years till you're 65? No, probably not. Like, you've got to double what you've just done. How about we just wipe all that out, just clear it off, get rid of it, clear it all off to one side. How about we start with a blank sheet of paper? This is not paper, this is a whiteboard. But how about we just start? What the fuck do you want? Gary V would be proud of me. Said F. Fuck word. What do you want? What is it? What do you want to have to get up? So Scott's had to go to work. Do you want to have to get up and go to work, or would you rather stay on here with me in bed watching me on your 60-inch TV because it's got YouTube or Facebook installed on it? What do you want? Do you want that? Do you want to just get up and jump in your car and go to the airport and go and walk with me, with your feet in the water, and then we go for coffee and breakfast? Why not do that? That was a decision that we made 4 years ago when we decided to move here. Do you think that was an easy decision? Because I can tell you it certainly wasn't. You know, I've got 2 children that I was battling for in family court. And that was very, very difficult to do. And then wife's got all this family and all that kind of thing. There's so many reasons why we shouldn't have gone to Spain and lived next to the Mediterranean coast. There's so many reasons why we shouldn't have done it, right? All of them very logical, very obvious, very pertinent, you know, very important reasons why we shouldn't have gone. And we still went. And we went because the benefit that living here gave us far outweighed all of that stuff. We can see family, we can jump on a plane, we can go over, they can jump on a plane and come over and see us. For the last 4 years, I jumped on a plane every 2 weeks to go see my children. Every 2 weeks, I've flown 200,000 miles. Unfortunately, Leeds City Council got involved and that soon stopped. But for the last 4 years, and if you're wondering why, it's because Leeds City Council are a bunch of bald-faced liars. So if lawyers want to approach me on that, then please do, and we'll talk about that. So that's for Leeds lawyers, by the way, because I'm more than happy to go to court. Anyway, what are you going to do? When are you going to start living? When are you going to do it? Why wait till next week? Why wait till tomorrow? Why not do it now? Get yourself a blank sheet of paper. What do you want? Like in 10 years' time, or 5 years' time. You know, in 10 years' time, you can accomplish anything, right? Go back 10 years ago with Elon Musk. Everything was right at its lowest level with Elon, right? Like, I think maybe he sold eBay, or he was still in eBay and he was building up to selling it, I think 10 years ago. But Tesla didn't exist, the SpaceX didn't exist. Facebook 10 years ago, like, I've been on Facebook maybe 9 years, I think, but Facebook was just coming out 10 years ago. The iPhone, for example, is about 10, 12 years old. Before that, we had these old blocky phones. That's not a phone, that's just a rubber, but it looked, you know, an old blocky phone. The good thing was you had a battery life that lasted like 18 weeks, unlike the phones today. But in 10 years' time, you can accomplish anything that you want. You can accomplish all your goals, but you've got to work out what do you want. And until you know exactly what you want and you get really, really specific on what you actually want, you ain't going to get there. Because you don't know when to get off the motorway. So I'm sure you've seen this. What people think success looks like, and it's just a straight line, versus what success actually looks like. I'm trying to find a pen at work. We've left the lids off the pens. I'll have to buy some more. And then what success actually looks like. And eventually you get there, okay? But, like, if you didn't know that this is what you wanted right here, you would just keep going round. Because how would you know what you wanted? If this is what you want, you've got to get a piece of paper and you've got to sit down, you've got to work out, what do I want? That is it. How do I want to live my life? So there's a couple of pertinent questions you probably should ask yourself. What do I want is number one. What do I want to do during the day? Do you want to wake up and go Facebook Live like me? Go down to the beach, go out on the bike, go down to the gym. I've got my VA working today and putting all the content out. I don't have to do anything. I'm probably going to do a bit more content, but I literally don't have to do anything. Is that what you want? Or do you want to just go, okay, actually I'm going to jump in my private jet and I'm going to go to different properties around the world and see what deals I can get to buy and sell properties that will pay for my jet? Like, you could do that. As far out in your reality that feels like, you could do that, okay? But it all starts with a plan. You've got to get your plan written down. So, what do you want? What do you want your life to look like? Who do you want in that journey with you? These are all questions that I asked myself at a training called Design Your Destiny through Chris Howard about 5 or 6 years ago. And in fact, before that, through Breakthrough to Success, which is coming up in June, by the way, in LA, I asked myself all these questions and I wrote them down. And I wrote down what my dreams were and what my goals were. And one of them was the partner that I'm with now, she was in my goal setting. The cars that I owned, they were in my goal setting. The villa next to the beach, that was in my goal setting. I worked out what did I want, and then I worked towards getting that. And I didn't dick around and wait. Why wait? Why wait 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years? Oh, I'll do it when the time is right. Or when the time is right, the teacher will show up. Screw the teacher, just go bloody do it. Go take action. You're going to fail, right? That's okay. You're supposed to fail. I wish somebody had told me that in business before. Well, you're going to get it wrong. That won't work. Like, that's what people said. They said, oh, that won't work. But then they stopped it there. They said, well, that won't work. Of course it doesn't bloody work the first time. Nothing works the first time. I didn't wake up and go, as a kid, as a toddler, and go, I'm going to walk today and just get up and walk. I didn't jump in a swimming pool and just learn to swim like that. I didn't go on Facebook Live and just be awesome. I'm not saying that I'm awesome now, but I'm on the journey to getting there, right? So even if I'm in a -10 position on Facebook Lives, I might be going to 0 where I don't completely suck, right? Or maybe I'm going to a +10 where actually it's not that bad at all, right? Or I might be on 100 and going, wow, that's a really powerful Facebook Live. I wish I'd joined Dan years ago and started watching what he was doing. That's okay. We all make mistakes, right? Well, that won't work. Of course it bloody doesn't. So, so I wish somebody had told me that. I wish somebody would have told me that you're going to make these mistakes and that's okay to make those mistakes. Keep making the mistakes, because the more mistakes you make, as long as you recognise that they're mistakes, the more you can put them right, the more you can adapt and change things. So we're just taking on a VA, and she's made some mistakes. And like, do we expect her not to make mistakes? Of course not. I totally expect her to make mistakes. Has she made mistakes that have gone out? Yeah, she's made 1 or 2. Is it a big deal? I don't give a shit. But she's just making the mistakes I made 5 years ago, right? But I'm just further on in the game, that was all. I've just got a little bit more experience. So we're going to make those mistakes. Are you going to make a mistake in a sales presentation? Of course you are. Are you going to learn from that mistake for next time? Of course you are. That's what we call growth. That's, the evolution of you as an individual. So why wait? Just go ahead and do it. And fine, you're going to make some mistakes. Let's move on from those and learn from those and get it right the next time. And every time you do it, and every iteration of what you're doing will improve and improve and improve and improve and improve. Right, good little Facebook Live there this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm getting all passionate there. Because I want this for you. I want you to go out, and I want you as a next door neighbour so we can go walk on the beach and have breakfast and go to the gym and play basketball and go to the cinema where you're learning Spanish from Han Solo because it's on subtitles at the bottom. I want all that, I don't want to do this journey on my own. So, look, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did like it, give me a heads up. Come and speak to me on Facebook. Come and give me a like on iTunes. And just come and say hello, really. And we'll catch up with you tomorrow in tomorrow's Facebook Live. Alright, my name's Dan Latto.
Can't believe that it's been so long, that we're in the eye of the needle. When you don't like or love me, I breathe it all out, then I breathe in. When